What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV, back here for another Tottenham update. A few bits and pieces to get through today, some transfer news, and let's talk about the Leicester and the Rennes game as well. And let's start off with the Leicester game, as both press conferences have been done today. Brendan Rodgers and Antonio Conte both alluding to saying that both clubs requested to the Premier League for a postponement for this game. Obviously Leicester because of the COVID situation, but Tottenham wasn't because of the COVID situation. The Tottenham game, we requested to postpone it so we can get the Rennes game played. But the Premier League have rejected both requests. But what do you make out of the Premier League rejecting both clubs rejecting?
I feel bad. Yeah, I think from our point of view, us requesting the game to be postponed so we can play the Rennes game, I think Premier League have got no obligation to accept that. I think they're well within their right to say no. We need the Premier League takes priority, which I mean I don't agree with, but they're within their right to say that. In terms of the Leicester one, they have reportedly 9 players out due to COVID and illness. I mean, I think they're being purposely vague when they say COVID and illness. How many is due to COVID? How many is due to illness? I don't really know. But if it's 9 players out for due to that, then it's hard. And also no fit centre backs. It's hard to kind of have an argument to say the game should be going ahead. Really, I think the game should probably be postponed. Yeah. But seeing as Tottenham, I think if we didn't also have the Burnley game postponed, they could also postpone this game. But because we also have Burnley and Brighton now, and obviously Rennes, they're trying to fit in. We'll get into that in a bit. The Premier League are doing everything to try and not have a third game postponed because there's literally going to be nowhere to fit it in. So it's a tough situation, but from Leicester's point of view, they're understandably upset by the whole situation. Now they're going to this game tomorrow. No Soyuncu, no Evans, no Fofana, no Vestergaard, no Amate. They're all out, so it's difficult for them to field a team which can get all 3 points.
Bring Wes Morgan back. Where's he gone these days?
Yeah, was he? Is he out of contract? Wes Morgan?
I don't know where he went. I think he ran down his contract at the end of last season.
Probably, but it's a difficult one.
I think in terms of if both clubs ask for the game to be called off, yes, but Spurs don't have a leg to stand on in terms of getting the game postponed. But if Leicester, they want the game postponed because of COVID, I think this game should be called off. I really do.
And it's that there's 9 players. Yeah. I mean, it does say COVID and illness, which is purposely vague, I feel. Because if it was 9 players for COVID, they'll just say 9 players out with COVID, but they're not. They say COVID and illness. So maybe they're not being 100% forthright with what's what, really.
Most probably, to be honest, that's probably the right case. But let's move on to the Rennes game, and this is an interesting one because obviously the outcome of this game has been put to a disciplinary panel through UEFA. The update is Spurs are believed to have offered Rennes and UEFA every feasible date to get this game played, even offered to travel to France to play this game if necessary. So clearly Rennes aren't playing ball with this. So what this tells me, what I think is going to be the situation with this, I think Rennes are going to have to forfeit this game because they're not coming up with solutions to get this game played, where Spurs seem to be trying to get this played at the utmost importance, trying to find dates, even offered to play a second away game against them. So I personally think that this game is going to go in our favour, in my opinion.
I mean, if we're offering to go to France, I mean that's quite a big step, I think. You got to say, like, not many clubs would do that, but I guess we do. I mean, we'd only do that for desperate. So I'm guessing it was looking like a situation where we would have to forfeit. But the fact we've offered to go to France, and if they're still saying no even after that, I mean, what more can Tottenham do? It wasn't really their fault in the first place. They had to stop the game because the training ground was closed. So what can they do? And Rennes obviously have to be a bit more accommodating, and they seem to be they are so unhappy with how Tottenham have postponed the game. It looks like they're trying to get Tottenham to forfeit the game. It seems like if they're even saying no, because when they have a winter break, maybe they can fit it in there, but maybe they want to use that break to have a break, which is understandable. But I don't know, it's difficult to see which way. I mean, it's still in the balance, really, for me, which way it falls, because Tottenham, at the end of the day, did, even though it was no fault of their own, they did postpone the game without consulting with Rennes. So from that point of view, that's difficult. But Rennes surely have to somewhat try and help out in this situation. Or maybe it's not just Rennes, maybe it's other people like the Premier League or whatnot have said, you can't play this day or that date because you got other games. I don't know. We don't know what the whole situation is at the moment.
Well, we know that the first date that they proposed was the 15th, which would have been today. And
Yeah,
that's
but
why they called for the Leicester game to be called off, and the
but it
Premier
wasn't
League
called off.
rejected that.
So we don't know, but exactly. So we don't know if was it Rennes who rejected it or the Premier League rejected that date. Maybe the Premier League have to agree to it. I don't know. It's a strange situation at the moment. I've never seen a situation like this, to be honest.
Never.
But the disciplinary panel, I don't know when we're going to hear a decision. We're in the draw at the moment, so. I mean, it's up in the air at the moment whether we're going to be in this tournament or not.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll just have
Conte said Spurs, he really wants to play this game and Spurs deserve the right to qualify for the next round. That was his stance in the press conference. But at the moment, yeah, we're just waiting game.
Yeah, so we'll have to wait and see how this one plays out. Still no decision has been made by UEFA. So, look, this decision surely has to be imminent. It surely has to be imminent. So, obviously, we'll bring you the news as and when that decision is made. But let's move on because Ali Gold was speaking last night. He did a whole hour-long video on his YouTube channel. And one of the quotes from the video was, "I was told there's not a huge amount of money to spend in January." So basically, Conte's walking at the end of January. Is that what we're saying?
Yeah, I mean, I hope not. But, I mean, I don't know. Like, sure, I don't expect, like, vast sums of money like a war chest, but I expect there to be a bit of money to spend. 20 million here, 30 million there, kind of thing. I don't think we're going to spend like 100 million, but maybe like 50 million, 60 million.
Be nice.
Something like that. That's what I would think could be available if need be.
But, we obviously need to, in terms of the size of the squad, we need to sell players, especially foreign players, before we need to bring any in. So I'm guessing that money is going to be put aside for the transfers anyway.
You have to think so, and that's in the pipeline, isn't it? Bergwijn looks set to leave. Dele looks set to leave. Maybe a few other unexpected ones could leave. So I think when it comes to January, I reckon there could be a bit of money, but depends how outgoings go, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely spot on. And in terms of incomings, we've got a few rumours here. One from Milan Live, which is obviously a Milan publication, and they say Tottenham are ready to economically satisfy AC Milan midfielder Frank Kessie. His contract negotiations are blocked with the Italian club, and his departure is increasingly likely. So obviously,
economically satisfy. That's one way of saying they're going to pay him what he wants, basically.
Yeah. So I mean, obviously, he's a top player, top midfield player. I would love to see him through the door. Contract running down as well, and obviously I think Paratici and Conte would know him very well from Serie A. I mean, he's one that I would love to see through the door.
We can pre-sign him, can't we, in January? Yeah. That's probably what we would look at. As much as it would be tempting to spend a bit of money and get him in Jan, I'm guessing we would look to pre-sign him on a pre-contract, and that's probably what they're alluding to. So for sure, Kessie, good age, definitely the right profile of what we're looking for, especially the position. Like, it's a perfect signing if we can get it done, but it's all about just making sure we don't leave it too long.
Spot on. Let's move on. A Portuguese publication called O Jogo are saying Victoria are going through financial issues and could look to sell Marcus Edwards in January, and Spurs would receive 50% of the final fee should the deal happen.
Wow. So obviously that's a big percentage, isn't it?
That's a big chunk of the percentage, obviously. Would you like to see him back at Spurs?
Back at Tottenham?
Edwards?
Not really. I mean, I know he's doing well for putting in Portugal, but he had a lot of problems, didn't he? Attitude problem. Maybe he's growing up and maybe he's changed.
That's the
but
thing.
I don't know. I can't say to that. At the moment, we let him go pretty easily for a reason, I would say. No one in England would touch him. He had to go to Portugal. He's done okay there. He's not setting the world alight, but he's doing pretty good, I would say. He's doing well, but he's not like ripping it up, if you know what I mean.
He's doing really well there.
He's doing well, but he's not like scoring like 20 goals, 15 goals.
Yeah,
well, he scored like 10 goals, did he? Like 10? He scored 6 goals this season.
6 in 14 so far this season.
Decent.
It's a good return.
For a winger, for a wing forward. It's pretty decent. He's doing well. And if Tottenham think they could do something back at Spurs, why not? But I just feel like, is he the right attitude we want around the club? If he, he had a great opportunity at Tottenham. Pochettino believed in him. You know, he was talking him up.
Yeah.
He would have had an easy route into the first team, in my opinion, if he knuckled down, and he couldn't do that. So there's a reason why we were more than prepared to let him go, and it wasn't to do with his quality; it was to do with his attitude. And unless that's changed, I wouldn't want him back. No.
And it's also worth noting that he's got a 50 million release clause. So if that release clause is ever met, it's obviously a bit unlikely that it is met.
I doubt, yeah.
But 25 million coming our way. But if he is going to be sold,
It's going to be what, 10 million?
It'll be like 20 million tops probably.
You reckon I'll get 20 million for him?
Tops.
He's young, I guess, but he's not even that young. What, 23 now?
I thought he's around 21, but yeah.
I think he's a bit older than that now, isn't he?
23, yeah, you're right. 23 is still a good age, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but it's not like he's not a youngster anymore, you know.
And obviously he scored against Arsenal, didn't he, last year in the Europa League for Victoria. I would like to see him through the door if his attitude is back in check. I really would. And I think moving away to Portugal, a different country, knuckling down a first-team spot, a regular first-team spot, could have done him the world of good. But it remains to be seen, doesn't it? It remains to be seen.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know. Depends. A lot depends on the factors we don't know about.
Yeah. All right, let's move on. And a publication called The Eye Paper, I'm not really sure who they are, but they say Tottenham have leapfrogged Arsenal in the race to sign 22-year-old Bologna midfielder Matthias Svanberg. The club know the player very well due to the Serie A connections. I had him on Football Manager last year, and he turned into an absolute baller, Matthias Svanberg.
Where does he
in the middle
play?
Of the park, central midfield. So... I mean, I've never seen him play in real life, so it's hard to actually comment on that. But do you know anything about him whatsoever?
No. Swedish. That's all I know.
Yeah. All right. So we move on. Next one is from Fabrizio Romano saying Newcastle was seriously interested in signing former Spurs man Kieran Trippier. This one's gathering a bit of pace as well. In terms of Trippier, any thoughts of him going to Newcastle? Would you have liked to see him back at the door at Tottenham?
Nah, look, I mean, he'd be a good backup right back, classic. But like, now look, I wish him well at Newcastle. He's now, 31, 32, so he's getting on a bit, but I still think he's a good player and he's a good right back. He did quite well.
Better than Doherty.
Yeah, for sure. That's for sure. He did well at Atletico Madrid. He still gets called up for England, doesn't he? Sometimes. Yeah. I mean, even though they got a load of right backs, so I'm sure it'll be a great signing for Newcastle, 100%. If they 100 would be a very good signing. But I think in terms of Tottenham, I think that chapter's closed. I don't think he's coming back.
Yeah, and the last one I've got for you is from Scott Wilson, and they're saying Newcastle are ready to make a loan move for Dele Alli, but will push for the insertion of a clause into the loan move that will enable them to sign the midfielder permanently if they remain in the top flight.
Sounds
how
good
much?
To me.
Yeah, how much do you reckon that fee could be?
30 million, maybe more, maybe 40.
If it's Newcastle, just bump up
40, 35 million.
20 million in there.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the clause will be a bit different because they're not forced to pay it, so you can maybe put it a bit higher. You can maybe say 30, like 35, 40, because it's a clause. If you're telling them now you have to pay this much, you're probably looking at 25. But if you're saying, look, we'll put a clause, you can get him on loan, and if you really like him, then you can sign him permanently. Then the price will be a bit higher, probably. So 35. But I think the 35 million.
From Dele's perspective, what do you make out of him going to Newcastle? Do you think it's a good fit for him? Do you think he can kick on there? Do you think he can reinvigorate his career there?
To be honest, I see him struggling.
Yeah,
I think he needs to be in a team who is dominating the ball, who's playing a lot of possession, where he can float around and go unnoticed. At Newcastle, in a relegation battle, is he up for a relegation battle? I don't know. I feel I can see him going there, not really turning it around and having a bit of not a waste, but I see him playing a lot, but I see him as well struggling for form and struggling for goals and assists, which we know this is his forte. So that I don't see it being a loan spell where he completely turns around his form. I struggle to see that.
So with Dele and Trippier potentially going to Newcastle, getting the band back together, Eddie Howe. Well, Eddie Howe's putting our old band back together. Any of our other old players going to join Newcastle? Danny Rose, Sissoko, Toby, Yan, any of them?
Get them all back together. Get a whole Pochettino as manager as well in the summer.
Yeah. To be honest, the rumours were very rife for Pochettino going to Newcastle at some point. But look, that is...
Llorente's free, isn't he?
Exactly, Llorente's free as well. And who else? Anyone else? I mean, Kevin Wimmer, maybe he can go down there as well. But look, Nkudu, you know, bring them all to the northeast. But look, that is your Tottenham update for today. Let me know in the comment section below if you have any thoughts regarding any of the news stories from today. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, come on, you Spurs.